Thanksgiving weekend is finally winding down. Airports and freeways are packed today across Southern California and the entire country as millions made their journey back home. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Nia Watson. ABC 10 News reporter Madison Wiles spoke with travelers returning home after the busy holiday break.
It was a busy Sunday of holiday travel all over the country. We spoke with families grateful to be returning home to San Diego, as well as those who really enjoyed their holiday trip here. From the roads to the skies, it was a bustling day of travel for many.
We walked up here and it was like packed like a school of fish. I was just like, well, this is gonna take forever.
Some seasoned SoCal travelers knew what to expect on the Sunday after Thanksgiving, arriving at the airport with plenty of time to spare.
Especially with the travel, how it's been lately. I've been arriving an hour and a half, 2 hours early to most of my flights.
I usually try to be earlier than most, just because you never really know.
AAA estimates that 4.5 million people across SoCal took a trip for the Thanksgiving holiday. That's up 2.5% from last year. In a statement from the Auto Club, a spokesperson summarized it best, saying, quote, "Despite inflation and high gas prices, consumers are continuing to prioritize valuable and memorable time with family and friends through coming together at the holidays."
Gas prices here suck.
But those gas prices still hurt, as these visitors from Arizona will tell you.
Basically, we filled up in Yuma like $3.89 just on the other side in Yuma, and then try to get as much out of that as we can before we got to buy gas here, then only buy what you need to get back to Yuma.
Once we got into California, it was pretty chaotic. A lot of traffic.
But at the end of the day, travelers say all that traffic and even the gas prices were worth it for Thanksgiving memories in San Diego.
Spending time with friends and family has been great.
Madison Weil, ABC 10 News.
According to FlightAware, at least 60 flights were canceled this weekend, with more than 4,400 delayed, including a few at San Diego International Airport. Well, as Americans try to return home this weekend, a major storm in the northeast is complicating some travel plans. The busy I-95 corridor from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia to Boston hit with heavy rains.
A big system's going to take all night, I think, to clear. The back half of this, where the low is back over Ohio and Michigan. So heavy rains tonight will end from west to east.
And for those who delayed their travel plans until tomorrow, a winter storm could bring 1 to 2 feet of snow to some parts of the Pacific Northwest. San Diegans driving back home today were welcomed by lower gas prices. The average price of gas in our county is now at its lowest since early March. It decreased another 3 cents today to $5.08 a gallon. This is according to AAA. That price is still 42 cents more than a year ago. The national average is now down to $3.55. And as the Thanksgiving weekend comes to an end, we're about to see some major changes outside. ABC 10 News pinpoint weather anchor Moses Small joining us now. Moses, break it down for us.
Yeah, Nia, good evening. Well, let's say you're coming back to San Diego after vacation. One thing you might see if you live in the mountains or the desert is a lot of wind tomorrow. We have a wind advisory that starts tomorrow morning at 10, runs until Tuesday morning at 7. And some of those wind speeds are going to be pretty quick. Mountains and the desert will see peak wind gusts as fast as 65 miles per hour. They're going to stay windy into Tuesday, so the name of the game here is watching for dust and debris and staying careful on the roads. Along the coast, only going to see light winds, and inland we may see gusts up to 25 miles per hour. Another big change coming Monday night is going to be the isolated raindrop or two. It's going to calm down by Wednesday, then by Thursday night we're going to see potentially even more substantial rain as we head into the weekend. But as for San Diego right now, we're feeling comfortable and cool right in those upper 50s, and tomorrow we're going to see some very cool weather. But there's much more to it this extended forecast. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. Nia?
Moses, thank you. Within the last 2 hours, crews successfully rescued 2 people from this small plane after it crashed into live power lines. Authorities say the pilot and passenger have non-life-threatening injuries and were taken for further medical evaluation. The crash happened around 6 tonight in Maryland, leaving them stuck inside 100 feet up from the ground. Authorities say the crash also knocked out power to about 120,000 customers in the area. Witnesses described what happened when the plane crashed.
Saw like 2 big flashes. I thought, well, it's just lightning. And I thought, well, it's raining, but Didn't really think too much about it. Big crash, big boom and everything.
It took a long time to rescue the pilot and passenger because of the power lines and weather. Crews are now working to restore power. The FAA and NTSB will investigate this incident. And there was a prayer vigil tonight for the victims killed in a mass shooting at a Virginia Walmart. A candle was lit for each of the 6 victims who were co-workers. Authorities say Walmart supervisor Andre Bing fatally shot them in the store last week before taking his own life. They say he left a message on his phone titled Death Note, in which he complained about his colleagues and referred to murder. Meantime, tomorrow the Chesapeake City Council will hold a special meeting to confirm an emergency declaration, which will free up some funding to support the recovery effort. And one of the 3 University of Virginia football players who were fatally shot was laid to rest this weekend. Memorial services were held for Deshaun Perry in his hometown of Miami Gardens, Florida. The 22-year-old was one of 3 fellow football players gunned down by an ex-teammate in Charlottesville earlier this month. Football players across the country paid tribute to Perry and his fallen teammates, including with helmet decals honoring the UVA Cavaliers. Now to Georgia, where voters hit the polls this weekend for early voting in the U.S. Senate runoff race. Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker are in a runoff race after neither was able to pass the 50% threshold in the initial election. Now, according to the Georgia Secretary of State's office, more than 76,000 votes were cast in person Saturday. Georgia State Supreme Court allowed counties to offer early voting on Saturday. Additional early voting days are scheduled ahead of Election Day, which is set for December 6th. We turn now to China and the unprecedented COVID protests that are sparking chaos. Police were out in force in Shanghai and across China, clashing with the demonstrators. As ABC's Lama Hassan reports, some demonstrators are now demanding the ousting of China's President Xi.
Tonight, riot police cracking down across China. A major show of force, officers swooping in, dragging protesters away. Among those arrested, a BBC reporter covering the demonstrations. He was beaten and kicked by police. Police are desperately trying to stop these unprecedented acts of defiance, now spreading to several cities. Thousands of people taking to the streets, outraged over the country's harsh zero-COVID restrictions. Some in Shanghai brazenly calling for President Xi Jinping to step down. We should end his dictatorship, this woman says. He only cares about himself. Publicly pointing the finger at their leader and the Communist Party, holding blank white pieces of paper, now a symbol of these protests, fighting against censorship and demanding freedom. This latest wave of demonstrations fueled by the recent deadly fire at an apartment complex in the western city of Urumqi, 10 people killed. Residents blaming the strict COVID measures for hampering rescue efforts, saying they couldn't escape, and firefighters were unable to get through, taking them 3 hours to put out the flames, officials denying the claims. It comes just days after clashes erupted at Foxconn's largest iPhone plant. Police in hazmat suits beating protesters as some smashed surveillance cameras and threw metal barriers at police. Workers angry because of disputes over a delay in unpaid bonuses and the company's handling of an outbreak.
So the protesters are calling for President Xi to step down, but that's a highly unlikely scenario. In fact, it was only last month that the president secured an unprecedented 3rd term as the country's leader. Now, with these simultaneous demonstrations sweeping across China, the question is, what happens next? How will the president respond, and how will the Communist Party deal with this dissent? Lama Hassan, ABC News, London.
New Russian strikes on Ukraine create a power crisis. Many are without electricity and heat as snow falls in several major cities, where Ukrainians are finding warmth and safety. Plus, a former NASA astronaut visits a children's hospital in Ukraine, why he's calling the experience both heartwarming and very sad. And comedian Jay Leno's return to the stage just weeks after suffering burns from a car fire.
Thrilling endings today for both the Raiders and Chargers at 11:30 on Virgin Hotels Las Vegas Sports Extra. The NFL drama, plus why the Arkansas head coach is apologizing to the SDSU basketball team.
We turn now to Ukraine and the urgent power crisis following devastating Russian strikes. The capital, Kyiv, now blanketed with snow, temperatures dropping below freezing throughout the country. And many people are without power, heat, and in some cases, water. ABC's Marcus Moore has the latest from Kyiv, where crews are working tirelessly to restore essential services.
Russia launching new attacks here in Ukraine, punishing the country's already badly battered power grid. Millions of people in the dark right now as snow falls in major cities. Russia's latest aerial attack focused on the city of Dnipro in the southeastern part of the country over the weekend. And we have seen videos circulating online showing intense flames tearing through buildings in that region. More than a dozen people have died in the fighting in that part of the country over the past couple of days. Back here in Kyiv, the race to keep people warm is underway. We went to one of the dozens of warming centers that have been set up around Kyiv for people to find heat and safety in the event there's another wave of attacks that knocks off the power here. Electricity has been restored to most areas, at least in a limited capacity. And what it means is that the Ukrainians still here in the country get about 4 hours of power each day if they are lucky. And that is the new way of life for the millions of Ukrainians still here in the country as this war enters its 10th month. Marcus Moore, ABC News, Kyiv.
Former American astronaut Scott Kelly visited Ukraine's largest pediatric hospital in Kyiv. He met with patients and he calls his experience there both heartwarming and very sad.
On one hand, it was really sad to see the horrific injuries that these children have as a result of Russian airstrikes. But, somewhat, it was also heartwarming to see their resilience and, like the resilience I think that all the Ukrainian people are demonstrating in this, horrific war.
Kelly is also an ambassador for Ukraine's United 24 fundraising platform. It's a global initiative that Ukraine's President Zelensky launched back in May to support the country. During his visit, Kelly also gave out NASA badges. The children gave him a drawing of himself in space, according to United 24. Well, back here at home, a Point Loma child care center closed its doors for good after 55 years. Honey Bear Preschool and child care shut down the day before Thanksgiving. The closure isn't impacting teachers and parents. We spoke with one parent who says she got the news a week before Honey Bear was set to close. She scrambled to find new schools for her two sons, but she also set up a GoFundMe to help the teachers.
The fact that the teachers were given a week's notice to find a new job during the holidays just feels so abrupt.
She raised $5,000 for teachers in just 3 days, but hopes to raise up to $10,000. In an email to parents, Honey Bear cited the hits to the child care industry, such as higher wages and competition from public programs, as the reasons it had to close its doors. And comedian Jay Leno returned to the stage tonight, just 2 weeks after suffering burn injuries in a garage fire. The former Tonight Show host performed in front of a sold-out crowd at the Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach. Leno is an avid car collector. He was burned in a gasoline fire while working underneath one of his vehicles earlier this month. He had 2 surgeries for significant burns on his face and hands. Leno scheduled 3 additional shows at the Comedy and Magic Club in December.
Now, the ABC 10 News Pinpoint Weather Super 7-Day Forecast.
And we are expecting some rain to come our way and lots of wind in the mountains. ABC 10 News Pinpoint Weather anchor Moses Small joining us now to break it down. Wind and rain.
Yeah, we have a lot going on. So we got wind, rain, and you can also add some cold to the list. It's going to be a good week to bundle up. So starting off with that wind, it's mostly going to hit the mountains and the desert. We're expecting some light rainfall at a couple different times this week and some cold temperatures no matter where you are in San Diego County. Now, we have a wind advisory in the mountains and desert that starts tomorrow morning at 10, runs all the way through to Tuesday morning at 7. And if you're wondering why it's really only in the eastern parts of the county, here's a good visual. It's a pretty dominant onshore flow, and it gets significantly quicker as soon as you look towards areas like the desert or just east of the mountains. So these are the places where we're going to see those really fast winds. And if you're wondering how fast they're going to be, as fast as 65 miles per hour in the mountains and the deserts. And it's going to stay windy through to Tuesday. So the name of the game here is watching out for dust and debris and staying careful on the roads. Along the coast, we're only going to have some light wind, and inland we could see gusts as fast as 25 miles per hour. And another big change this week is going to be some rainfall. We're expecting those first few raindrops to fall tomorrow night going into Tuesday. Calm down for the middle of the week. Then looking ahead to next weekend, we could see potentially a little more substantial rainfall. But as far as tomorrow goes, nothing super impressive. We can see just isolated sprinkle here and there. It is enough to make the roads a little slick. That's another reason to be careful if you're traveling around tomorrow. But the accumulation is really next to nothing, only a couple hundredths of an inch, if that. And as far as temperatures go, we are seeing more of that cool down. It's feeling pretty comfortable. This is exactly what we want out of fall. We want to be able to bundle up, and we can do that with temperatures like Poway's 50 degrees, Escondido 51. Along the coast, Carlsbad 55, Oceanside 52. So we're expecting that cool weather to continue. And so, of course, we're going to see that tomorrow. We're not going to notice so much along the coast because we already had most of our cool down. We're still a couple degrees below average. Inland communities are going to be right around the same temperature as San Diego. That is 8 degrees below average. And of course, we're going to see plenty of wind throughout the mountains and the desert. And here's why it's going to stay cool. We have back-to-back low pressure systems bringing us plenty of cold air, and those are going to hang out with us throughout the week. So that makes our 7-day forecast look a little something like this. We're going to see the temperature bottom out relatively early, and it's going to stay relatively cool. The warmest San Diego is going to get at just 62 degrees. And look at how many days that we're expecting but the potential of rain. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, in addition to Thursday night. Inland, of course, they're going to feel really chilly, especially Fridays. They only hit 61 degrees. We're going to see lots of wind in the earlier parts of the week. That's the name of the game for the mountains and the desert. And if you take a look at this, even the desert might pick up a little rainfall on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So cold, wet, and windy. That's the trio.
Definitely feeling like fall weather right now. Thank you so
fall.
much, Moses. The biggest holiday shopping day of the year is just minutes away. Coming up, some of the best Cyber Monday deals ahead of an already record-setting holiday shopping season.
Skycam Views, sponsored by Carlsbad Solar.
We have seen a record start to the holiday shopping season. That's despite inflation and recession fears. A record $9 billion was spent online on Black Friday, up more than 2% from last year. ABC's business and economics correspondent Deirdre Bolton has more on what to expect tomorrow on Cyber Monday.
Tonight, with Americans already spending a record amount since Thanksgiving Day, analysts are forecasting yet another record for the next 24-hour shopping cycle starting right now.
It's probably best to pull the trigger and buy sooner than later.
The biggest online shopping day of the year fast approaching, Cyber Monday, and many retailers dropping their deals early.
Yeah, the pressure is definitely on the retailers. They know consumers are strapped. They know that their budget's getting eaten up by their heating bill, their rent, these necessity grocery purchases. So the pressure is on, for them to compete with each other.
Adobe Analytics forecasting that Americans will spend more than $11 billion online in the next 24 hours alone, up more than 5% from last year. Inflation, a huge factor looming over this holiday season, holding stubbornly at a 40-year high. But in the meantime, the deals are here. Amazon offering up to 70% off on Alexa-enabled devices, including their Echo and Fire TV.